react to this particular story. Hello, Ankyo. Yes, the issue of abandoned projects, by Nddc. What do you make out of it? In recent times, it's been a talking point.
Hello?
Yeah, we can hear you. Go ahead.
I'm really actually surprised that it has taken this long for the issue of the Niger Delta to be this explosive, because I believe that the Niger Delta Development Commission, when it was set up, that definitely the process to be fraudulent with the allocation of jobs, the process to be fraudulent by not doing the job and pretending to have done the job was actually inbuilt into the system of Nddc. Because if you are ever aware of how the Nddc came to be and why the Nddc came to be, this should not come as a surprise. Now, we have reached the point where it is during this 2019/2020 that we are actually, or the ordinary people, are being exposed to the facts of what is going on. But the people who are actually the victims, that is the Niger Delta people, the 9 oil producing states that should have benefited from these so-called contracts that have not benefited, are very much aware of this loss that they have suffered for the past 20 years. Now, how are we going about bringing it up, and how are we going about to get people that have committed this crime against the Niger Delta region and the Niger Delta people? How do they get to pay for their crimes? Is what we should be talking about. Now, PDP is the party that brought about the Niger Delta Development Commission.
Okay. Thank you. Are you there? Hello.
Yes.
Okay. Now, the issue of abandoning projects by contractors. Who should be held responsible? Because that's the reason for the probe.
See, the thing about getting to the bottom of anything, if you want to get to the bottom of something and you don't start from where it started, you're not going to get anywhere. We first have to sort out how we came to be here. How did we come to be here? We're not being told how we came to be here, and we're saying we want to sort it out. So what then are we sorting? What are we sorting out? The people who gave the contract are responsible to the people of the Niger Delta, because they gave the contract, meaning the Nddc workers, the Nddc MD gave the contract on behalf of you and I, if you're from the Niger Delta. And if the contractor have not delivered, I didn't go into any contract with any contractor, but I have a contract with Nddc, because the Nddc is for me, is for you, is for the Niger Delta people. So we are going to hold the Niger Delta people, the Nddc and the MD and all the people that make decisions accountable. Okay. And so it is them that will hold the do you know the contractor? They don't publish the name of the contractors. They don't publish the name of the companies. So it could be you that is taking the money. It could be me that is being awarded the contract that has not been delivered. So if we're not going to find out who these people are through the Nddc process, then I don't see how we can solve the problem.
Okay.
The problem is that there is fraud. Who is committing the fraud?
Okay.
They are being protected and we are now holding the NDDC people responsible. They should tell us the people that they gave the contract to.
Okay, stand by. Let's talk to Barrister Hayake in the studio as we're looking at this particular story. Ankyo Briggs, we all know her. She talks about issues affect the region in a very, very passionate manner. She's made some revelations this morning, and she said that who gives the contract in the first place. So, Barrister Hayake, looking at this particular issue, abandonment of projects. That's the reason why we see the kind of stories we see, or we hear the kind of stories we hear in this region. Now, some people have said NDDC is an interventionist agency. But to you, do you think for some time now, they've actually got to that point where they have been doing what they ought to do?
But the truth remains that NDDC has not lived up to expectation. I think, Kenneth, you're also getting it wrong here. That we are talking about two different things now. Abandon the projects and non-performing projects at all, where you just bring out a contract. It's called flying contract. That's the nickname in NDDC. Flying. The contract is flying. You can't locate it anywhere. But vouchers, LPOs are raised, and you go and snap picture, you go and submit, you get money. You don't do anything at all. That's different. Then abandoned project is also different. So you have been talking about abandoned. So there are two of them. Now,
but the document here states abandoned projects.
No, but when you read down, they analyze that people just submit invoices and collect money. And I told you, and I said, I am aware of that. I have participated in a matter that things like that was discussed. That was when I now marveled. I say, what? Just submit. He said, yes, now it's called flying contract. It's different from abandon. If it's even abandoned, that you are going to do something small, then abandon. It's even different. But this one, they don't go to site at all. So these are two different issues. Now, I also heard that Fabio the other day saying that NDDC has failed, and that NDDC has the only thing that NDDC has succeeded in doing was to fester the nets of politicians, or sponsor politicians and all that. And that is completely true. So I have not seen anything that NDDC have done over these years, rather than every politician in South wants to get to NDDC, wants to appoint the MD, wants to appoint the chairman, so that contract. Didn't you see what Nunia said? The first day that Fabio visited, 30 billion was awarded of Water Hyacinth.
Barrister, we'll get to that because it's part of our points for discuss today. But quickly, let's connect to Ankyo as she also talks about this. Now, the barrister talked about the abandoned project and the flying project. And now, the flying contract. Ankyo, what do you make out of these two statements, the abandoned project and the flying contract? Because I'm hearing that this for the very first time.
Well, I mean, very clearly, there are two different things. I have alluded to that, and Hayake is confirming it because he is a lawyer. He has handled cases. I am alluding to it because I have analyzed the whole situation based on information that is coming out. And what I know, for instance, like, don't forget that, as I said earlier, NDDC was created in 2000. We're now in 2020, so NDDC is 20 years old. Fabio just came into the mess of NDDC just maybe a year ago when he was appointed minister. So then the mess he has come into, the accusation is that he has compounded it. Now, if he has compounded it, let us be fair. I'm always fair in my analysis. If he has compounded it, he has compounded it from the moment he came into it. So, but now he is dealing and following processes that are already on ground. Maybe he's compounding it, maybe he's not. The accuser is the one that is going to prove. So, there are accusations flying all over the place. This one is saying that, and this one is saying this. Now, they have to prove it to you and I. It's not, I don't have to prove anything.
Okay. A very quick one. Thank you.
It is at the proving point that you will show me and I will accept what you're showing to me.
Okay.
But right now, the different accusations that is going on is accusations. All of it have to be proven. We have to see it in black and white. And not all of these things going on should be public. It should be done in public. It's not the National Assembly chairman that is in Abonima that have not received what NDDC has promised. It's me and Briggs. And so at the end of the day, I also, the people who have been marginalized and who have been denied, also have to be satisfied that their issues are being redressed and that they are part of the redressing, not just the National Assembly. The National Assembly is part of the problem.
Okay, a very bold statement. Thank you. I have to come in here now. It's no longer news that there are counter allegations, even allegations of corruption in the NDDC. And my question is it today or is it now that we are realizing that there have been corruption rocking the NDDC in recent times? Hello, Anki, are you there?
I am.
Okay.
It is not today. I said it at the beginning that the corruption is inbuilt with the inauguration. From the moment of inauguration, the people who have ever become MDs from Onyema Ugochukwu through to Timi Alaibe and all those people, they started working in the NDDC. But their appointments is based on politics. Is based on which political party you are. And that was why I mentioned PDP earlier on. I'm not supporting one or the other. But the reason of mentioning is that when PDP was in power, they appointed PDP members. And some of the call I am making is that the process of engaging people to work in NDDC should go through a verified and sure recruitment agencies, even from abroad, to recruit the indigenes of the 9 oil-producing states that qualify to run an agency such as this. It should not be based on who is giving you letter from the villa, who is giving you letter from the Senate, whose wife is giving you letter. It should be based on what your performance is as an MD in a job such as running an agency for 9 states in Nigeria that is full of corruption.
Okay.
Why are we running away from the realities in this country? Nigeria is corrupt.
Okay, thank you. I have to come in here now. Thank you. Okay, I have to come in here. You are making very, very bold statement. Nigeria is corrupt, but we all know corruption is everywhere in the world, and it's not just peculiar to Nigeria. But still stand by why the barrister talks. It's no longer news that there's a fierce battle between Joy Nwe and, of course, Godswill Akpabio. It's been a dramatic week, if you ask me. But quickly, barrister, before you react to this fierce, let's begin with Joy Nwe's revelation. Take a listen to this, please.
Takes any payment in NDDC without Godswill Akpabio's approval. When we first came to NDDC, on the day of going for the inauguration, he told me in the car that, Madam MD, if you don't do what I say, the same pen with which I used to sign your letter, it will be the same pen that I will use to remove you. He said the first thing I should do when I get to Port Harcourt is to change the dollars in the NDDC account. I was scared to do that. After that, he came to Port Harcourt 2 days after the inauguration. He said the first thing I should do is to make sure I change the dollars. I should remove Mr. Kaltungo from being legal and send him on compulsory retirement, that we cannot have a northerner be the head of the legal team, of the legal unit. He said I should remove all the other directors that refused to take his instruction during the time of Mrs. Agwagaga. That was the predecessor before I came. So he came also with a draft, which I've submitted, with a draft letter that I should write and put it on my letterhead, implicating Senator Nwobushi for collecting contracts in NDDC. I told him that I will not, I'm a lawyer, and that whoever alleges must prove. The fact that Senator Nwobushi is giving us trouble as IMC, you remember also that they did not recognize the IMC. I said I will not do that letter. He said I was ungrateful and I refused to do the letter. Dr. Cairo now said that he will do the letter. If Akpabio tells him to kill, he will kill before he asks why did he kill. I said for me, I will not do the letter. At that place, there was Mr. Etiebet, who was the only staff of the NDDC that was present at that meeting. When he finished, he now asked Dr. Cairo to go and send for the letter-headed paper from the office. They now sent for the letter-headed paper. Dr. Cairo now did the letter, which I've also submitted to the committee, alleging that Senator Nwobushi had contracts. Then he said, I must sign the cover letter. I said, if I sign any document from me seen by Mr. President, he will believe every line of it. So I will only write that the EDP, who should know about projects, have gone. The next thing that he told me, he said, I must make sure that all these people leave and that the procurement, because apparently Akpabio, before I came, when himself and Festus Keyamo were ministers, their first meeting at the commission, he was awarded 30 contracts for distilling and water hyacinth. Mr. Linus, who was the director finance, refused to sign because it did not follow due process. He also said that I should implicate the chairman of the House Committee, because the chairman of the House Committee had gone to Ondo State for a meeting to plan against him. Water hyacinth and distilling. They said that the budget for water hyacinth and distilling was, I think, for about 3 to 5 billion. I'm not sure exactly how much. But that the NDDC, before I came, had overstretched itself to about 50 billion for water hyacinth and distilling. And so the National Assembly had written us, they have it also, they had written us that we should not pay for anything like that. He said, and guess what? Akpabio never signs any documents. He will always refuse to sign, but he will tell you to go and commit the fraud. For instance, he told me to go and raise a memo and give an emergency contract for flood victims. He wanted me to take an oath. He has denied that, but I want to say today, he told me up to 3 times until we had a reconciliation meeting at the villa in the house of Mr. Sadiki Abba, who is the SA to the president on domestics. In that meeting was Alhaji Mekano. He said the only condition was if I take the oath. I refused to take the oath, and I did not take that oath. And I will never take the oath from him. So he said he was going to remove me. He started a campaign of calumny against me. He said I did not answer him because the facts will speak for itself. Now, to end this matter about the procurement process, I refused to go with him to deceive Mr. President at the FEC meeting, because the Procurement Act says if I contravene any section of the Procurement Act, it's 5 years imprisonment without an option of fine. So if I go and say they should pay for the process, if you see, they say it's for 2020 budget. Akpabio went to get the approval from FEC. The 2020 budget has not even been discussed by the National Assembly till today. The 2020 budget has not been passed. However, he lied to FEC, which is the greatest embarrassment in this country, for a budget that has not been passed, for an approval to be given for that procurement. I refused to go because he wanted me to send the money for the procurement to the ministry to implement the forensic audit. I refused. I am challenging him to deny any of these allegations because I have to round up for you people. But all the facts and all that I've said are all written in my documents.
Okay, welcome back from that insightful journey. Barrister, what do you make out of this particular revelation by John Nuye?
I said in my opening statement that enemies tell the truth, friends don't tell the truth. So everything said there, I would take them very seriously, and take them very, very seriously. Well, again, as a lawyer, until they are proven, but I would take them very seriously because only enemies tell the truth. Friends don't tell the truth because why should I tell the truth against my friend? I will hide my friend, I'll cover my friend, I will try to shield my friend. But immediately we become enemies, I will open up and begin to say things that we did in private. That's what is actually happening now. But it's very, very sad that you recall that Nddc was rocked with oath taking, if you remember. Former chairman of the board, Udo or something, where he went to bond dollars and all that. So, and that cost him his job. I think he later died or something, if I recall. So it's that means oath taking is still there, not just in Nddc, it's in politics, it's in government, it's all over the place. Remember Ngige oath taking as well with Uba. It's the same thing. So the same thing we went to destroy the Okija shrine is coming up again and again. I think she didn't mention the amount. She said 30. I think it should be 30 million, not billion. 30 million the first day in office. And like I said, I take them very, very seriously.
Okay, Barrister, a very quick one. A very quick one, please. Is oath taking a crime?
Definitely. It's a big crime. It's a punishable crime. You go to prison. It's not part of our system. Juju and oath taking. Is a criminal offense that will take you to prison yard and you spend several years in prison yard. It's very, very sad.
Okay.
Very, very sad. And the way she's talking and not mentioning names and all that is a very, very serious allegations. I hope she has enough, evidence to back them up. Maybe recorded pictures and all that, voices. I hope she has some of these things. But at the time these things were happening, I know that they were best of friends somehow, because you have to move on with your boss. You have to pretend to move on with your boss. But unfortunately, this is actually what happens, because I'm into litigation, I'm into settlement, I'm into civil matters, I'm into human rights matters. I know these things exist. We have come across several of them in the course of my job.
Okay, quickly, let's talk to Ankyo Briggs as she reacts to this particular revelation by John Nuye. Ankyo, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Okay, you heard the revelation by John Nuye. It's a very insightful one, very revealing. What do you make out of it?
Well, I think Higher King really have alluded to that, because you see, everything in that video, as it is narrated to us, is first of all a criminal offense. Each and every one of them are criminal offenses. And therefore, I said earlier on when I was speaking, and Joy herself have said so in the process of her presentation, that when she was asked to write a letter to implicate somebody, that she had said she is a lawyer, and that if you make allegations, you have to prove it. Now, that also applies to me, and it applies to you, and it applies to her, and she has said so. So, for me, everything the accusations, and the accusation is just not one-sided, but right now we have decided that we're focusing only on what has happened since the appointment of the minister and Joy herself into the process of the NDDC. I am still maintaining that we cannot solve the rot in NDDC without going right back to the beginning. I also want to make this point that the whole world is corrupt. Is not denying. I'm not denying that. But you see, again, in places like China, when you're caught with corruption, they execute you. What do they do here in Nigeria? People hail them in Nigeria. So you cannot now be comparing what happens abroad with what happens here when we're not actually doing the same thing. The bottom line, in my opinion, is this, that whatever is wrong in Nigeria that affects my people, myself, my rights as a Christian, the religion I choose to belong to, my ethnic nationality, all of these things are rights that I have. And anything that infringes on those rights, I'm going to kick against it. The NDDC is a project, is an agency that is set up as an intervention agency. The NDDC is not a development agency, but we have accepted it as a development agency.
But that's thank you. I have to come in. As the name connotes, Niger Delta Development Commission, but you just said it is not a development commission. Why would you say that?
It is not a development agency. And let me also put this to you. It may not be known, but you see, people thought something happened to bring the Niger Delta about, the commission about. Obasanjo did not just wake up for the love of Niger Delta and just put Niger Delta there. No, it was first of all UMPADEC. You see, UMPADEC is practically the same thing as what NDDC is. What he did was to change the name and call it Niger Delta Development Commission. It is not Niger Delta. It should not have been. And I raised that argument when we were fighting for justice and equity as far back as 1998, 1999. Now, it should have remained the Oil Producing Development States Commission. Now, or agency, whatever is better. But to call it Niger Delta Development Commission, you bring confusion in. The Ondo people are in Southwest. You cannot be in Southwest and also be in South-South. Imo and Abia is in Southeast. You cannot be in Southeast and also be in South-South. It's a geopolitical zone. So to call it, to connote it with those things, to color it with those things, is to create confusion. And it is that confusion that is now coming to fore. I'm surprised and disappointed that it has taken so long for it to come to this level. But whatever point we are in 2020, the truth must emerge. Allegations are being made. The person who is being alleged must defend themselves, and the person who is making the allegation must prove the allegation. I don't care what who goes to jail or who doesn't go to jail, who loses their job and who doesn't lose their job. Like the IMC today now, the one in place, it should have been removed. The whole IMC should have gone when they removed the MD.
Okay,
now we have
quickly, we have to go for a quick break, all right? And when we come back, but before we go for that quick break, the president has said he will get to the root of this. That's coming from Mr. President. But we'll go for a quick break, and when we come back, the conversation continues. Please don't go away.
Five Nights of Glory 2020 marked the gathering of giants, the salvation of souls, counting into tens of millions, the birth and rebirth of gods in the form of man. 5 Nights of Glory 2020 marked the making of man. Day 1, the making of Abraham. Day 2, the making of Joseph. Day 3, the making of David. Day 4, the making of Paul. Day 5, the making of Jesus.
God is the maker of man. Until you are made by God, you'll be limited in life. If you are self-made, you'll be self-destroyed.
Learn what it takes to be made by God in this series and gain flight to your next height. MP3 and DVD messages are available worldwide. Please visit the Knowledge Center closest to you or www.smhos.org/store.
Do your phone this way, they show. Look at this.
Welcome back to the program Saturday Special, okay? The Arise edition of Saturday Special. Joining us now to talk about the issues rocking the Niger Delta, region is Dr. Mike Chukwuma. He is a security expert. Welcome to Saturday Special.
Thank you very much.
Okay, we're looking at lots of issues. Of course, Briggs, she's made lots of comments. Of course, Barrister Higher King, he's been very fantastic talking about the issues rocking the region. But quickly, before we look at other issues, what do you make out of the allegations and counter-allegations rocking the Nddc at the moment?
Well, I'm not a member of the Nddc. I'm interested in the security aspects of what is happening in Nddc, or with Nddc now. However, initially I said on my timeline that Nigeria Elder should have called Senator Godswill Akpabio and John Nene to order, and I talked with them in-house.
Okay.
That was a suggestion. Last year when I was invited to a workshop in Bayelsa, I said, thank God that a highly placed Niger Delta had been appointed as a minister of Niger Delta Affairs, who had been a governor and a senator. That's the president of Akpabio. And that we should not blame anybody again. If anything happens in the NDC, we should come home and build our region. Senator Enite now was actually the representative of the minister there. I told him personally to carry the message to the minister that they need to actually come back home and build the Niger Delta with the resources given to them. So we don't get up tomorrow morning and start blaming anybody. With what is happening today, I feel embarrassed. I'm actually feeling embarrassed because if you are sent there to represent your people, represent them first, keep your interests aside, build a legacy. And if you build a legacy, you build a foundation for others to follow. It's not about your personal interests. So what is happening there? I'm not a contractor, I'm not a politician. So whatever is happening there, I didn't know about it until this mess started coming up. As far as I'm concerned, it's a disappointment. But I'm not going to pass judgment until The final investigations are carried out.
Okay, now, my question is, before Akpabio and Joy Inowe's controversy and fierce battle, there have been allegations of corruption. There have been, talks about abandoned projects. Just this morning, I got to know about flying projects, according to flying contracts, according to Barrister Haya King. So, this has not been a case of Akpabio and Joy Inowe. It has been something that has rocked that agency or that commission in recent times.
Let me tell you, I quarrel with the appointments into NDDC and the award of contracts in NDDC. Why is this so? It has only been people from a political party in power at the federal level that must be considered for appointment into NDDC. It's like party patronage thing. It's not based on the quality of the persons, the ability to deliver. You understand me? Mm-hmm. People are picked because you support my party during the election. This is what you contributed during the election. Go in there. And when they go in there, they see that, well, it is a patronage thing. It's a compensation thing. So they want to do anything they want to do because they believe that nobody can probe them. Those that want to probe them are those who actually are backing them. You understand me? They don't feel accountable to the people. Because if you are picked on basis of your background, you understand me? Basis of integrity, you also want to maintain that integrity. But that is not the situation here. It's a question of you are there for me during the election. Go there and say, what are you qualified that nobody wants to know?
Okay, I'll come back to you a bit. Barrister, the issue we're looking at is the fact that reps, they've taken this issue upon themselves to investigate the activities, in NDDC in recent times. Now, recall that on Tuesday during plenary, NDDC could not defend its 2019 budget before the Senate and House of Representatives Joint Committee of Niger Delta. Now, according to it, it found discrepancies in the budget. So my question is, how did we get here?
Spirit of corruption. Spirit of corruption is why we got there, because almost everybody wants to be corrupt. Everything must be corrupted. Everything. In Nigeria, when we say something is political, it means it has to be corrupt. It has to be corrupt. It's political appointment, that's corrupt appointment. Political contract, that is corrupt contract and all that. It's very, very unfortunate. Again, I say again, when enemies quarrel, the truth comes out. Whatever each person, I've also listened to Akpabio, although we didn't play it here, but I listened to Akpabio's counter and all that and all he said. In fact, this morning I even heard that he's going to court.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, he's going to court to...
we'll get to that. We'll get to that anyway.
And all that. So what I'm saying is that corruption has brought us to the level where we are. That is just the simple truth. This thing has been going on. It's not a new thing. You also heard I think on Wednesday when the present MD Professor Ponde had to walk out.
He walked out.
Yeah, he had to walk out because he said, "This man, I'm giving you contract. This man, you cannot preside." You heard when they say they give the politicians, House of Reps, senators give notes. You go to NDDC, they award you contract. I can allude to that. I can tell you because I have come across several of these things because of my practice, so I know that it happened.
Okay, I'll come back to you in a bit. We still have Ankyo online. Quickly, we'll get a reaction on this particular matter. Hello, Ankyo, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Okay, you heard the contributions of the gentleman in the studio. Chukuma just joined us, and he talked about that he is disappointed at what's happening at the NDDC at the moment. What's your view on that?
Well, I cannot really comment on the view of another guest. That is his view. But I will say this though, that you see, maybe because of media broadcast and all that, you're being careful. But I take responsibility for everything I say on media because I don't speak frivolously, and if I do make a mistake, I will apologize. But I speak truth all the time as I know it. Now, on the issue of solving or coming to terms, or as the president, as you have said before we went on break, that President Buhari says he will get to the bottom of it. Well, for me, in my opinion, he can say that, but I don't pay too much attention to that, because there is a lot of things for him to get to the bottom of, and he has not done it. So if he wants to jump ahead and go ahead and come and solve this problem, well, we will thank him when he has solved the problem, not before he has solved the problem. Now, the issue of what is happening is very clearly, for instance, you could see the guy, the MP that walked out on the National Assembly, and I have said here, and I've said on various outings I have had, one, if they release the names of beneficiaries of scholarships abroad, you will see that all the names that are on that scholarship list will not be only Niger Delta oil producing states, will not be only from the 9 states. Other people have gotten contracts, scholarships over the years, 20 years, from Niger Delta Development Commission, from the Nddc. If you look at the people who are getting the jobs, the billions are not from Niger Delta. If not, how is it that a senator, if a senator wants to do business, he should do the two together, or he should choose to do one or the other? Then he cannot be a senator and now come and take contract that Niger Delta people should be taking, and take it, and now sitting in judgment on the same people that have given him the contract. So I do agree, and I think it is offensive that he should be sitting in judgment on a process where he himself has been accused. If he says he has not taken a contract, he should go to court and sue the person who is claiming that he has that he has taken a contract. I'm from Niger Delta. I've never been given a contract before from the ministry. Why will I not be given a contract? Is the color of the Niger Delta money not for me? You know, so when these are the offensive things. It's not embarrassing. It is annoying that this is what is happening. And what I said here earlier on, that what is happening today, right now, in this process, they are trying. When I say they, I mean the people who are involved, and we can only know the people if we get access to the list of people who have gotten the jobs. If they release the names of the companies and the directors of these companies, they will inevitably lead back to the very people who are denying Niger Delta people their resources. Now look, the federal government is owing the ministry billions of naira. Who is talking about that one? Nobody's talking about it.
Okay, thank you. At this point, I want to ask a very critical question. Just stand by, please. Barrister, you made mention of the fact that Professor Pondi walked out, out of plenary, okay, on Tuesday, and the House saw it as disrespectful. As a matter of fact, they've ordered for an arrest. They've said, okay, he must be arrested, because he must answer questions. As a lawyer, what do you make out of it?
Well, I think it's laughable. I think they have issued such warrants before against IG, against some ministers. I don't know where the thing went up to. In law, we don't embark on exercising futility. You don't make orders that will be in vacuum, orders that will not be obeyed, orders or laws that will not be obeyed. I don't know how that is going to work out, because the man has his facts, and he said this man cannot sit in this panel. He made to his face. He said the chairman of this is compromised. And I say again, I see my favorite quote: enemies tell the truth, friends don't tell the truth. Shukuma is my friend, as he said there. If anything we are doing now, if we go to the public now for anything, I will protect him. He will protect me. But immediately we quarrel. Everything we did in secret, I will bring it out. He will also bring his own out. That is actually what is coming. I think we are going to even get more of these things if we allow them to continue to talk. You know that I know that presently people are calling them, prevailing on them to stop talking, because as they are talking, it's going to affect, police. Chukuma knows what I'm talking about. You catch one, just for one, police go carry this one. Before you know, 20 other suspects. He said, this one, he said, I gave to this one, I gave to this one, I gave to this. Police will be following you, until, before you know this, say, we have about, in that one case, we have about 5 suspects now. If you wonder how did they get it, is this issue of talking. So let them talk for us to, if this will lead to the sanitization of NDDC, I think I would like it. Like what Ankyo Briggs said. Why is it the higher king have not gotten a contract there? I'm not talking about flying contract. I do the contract and I execute and I take a profit. It's a legitimate business. I am from a community that has 28 oil wells. Both gas, both receptacles. I don't have one of this oil. Why should I?
That's it's a very big question.
Yes,
anyway. But,
very sad.
But Barrister, let's look at the issues. We can't help but talk about the John Nwe and Akpabio saga. We're meant to understand that in course of the week, armed operatives stormed the residence of John Nwe in Port Harcourt to actually arrest her. But it took the intervention of River State Governor to actually come to our rescue. But we'll have the IT guys roll a clip as it happened on Thursday.
It doesn't matter. Okay, for you police. What kind of society are we in? Can't you invite her to the police? Then you come and all of you come.
Early this morning, about 4 o'clock, I hear people were around my gate. I made some calls. I tried to reach the governor because he had told me that if I saw any strange movements, I should alert him since he issued the statement. So I tried to reach him. The phones were off, and then so I called some people. They said they might not be real policemen, so I should stay. They said they came to take me away. I said, for what? Do they have a warrant of arrest? They said no warrant of arrest. So I left it. About 6 o'clock, they broke the gate. And later, Senator Magnus Abe now called me that he had reached the Commissioner of Police, who said he didn't know anything about it. So the CP called me. I sent him my address. He came. They told me the CP was downstairs. The CP wasn't down, but I think he's the Deputy Commissioner of Police. So I opened the door. They wanted to grab me. I now pushed back the door and locked it and went upstairs, got through to my governor. They tried to break the back door. It's a security door, so they kept hitting it for over 1 hour and they couldn't get access. So my governor came, asked them for the warrant of arrest, and why couldn't they invite me to the police, that I would have come instead of going to take a woman like a criminal. So the governor took me in his car, and here I'm refugee in the government house. But I want to thank His Excellency for keeping to his word that nothing should happen to the daughter of River State. So here I am in the government house, and that's all. I was supposed to be going today to Abuja to make my submission before the House of Representatives, the committee. I'm sure it's about that. Meanwhile, the man that harassed me is at home. The man who stole the money is at home. The man who stole government files is at home. The man who took money is at home. The man who said I should go and take an oath is at home. It's a criminal offense. It's life imprisonment to take oaths, to even give to me, to even offer me an oath. It's liable. So I'm here.
So now that you're here, what options are you resorting?
Well, I'm sure my lawyers would be working on it as we speak. But
do you really feel safe now?
I feel very safe in the government house.
And not just government house now.
Oh, no, I don't think Akpabio can't kill me. Definitely, he can't. He can't. This is not. I'm not from Uyo now. He can't kill me. And why do people think he has the monopoly of violence?
But what really is the issue about it?
I think he wanted to stop me from giving my submission today. He succeeded, but I'm sure the House of Reps will give me another day, and Nigerians will hear more. I had stopped talking. I just wanted to make my submissions and then go away. But with this, and they say wise men who refuse to do anything suffer the rule of idiots. So.
Okay. From that short revelation, I call it a revelation because most times these things happen and we just can't help but find out. It took newsmen to get there to find out what really happened. But quickly, Higher King, you're a barrister, human rights advocate. I can't help but ask this critical question. The issue of arrest without a warrant. What happens?
Well, yes, you can arrest without a warrant. The law provides for somebody to be arrested without a warrant, especially when the person is committing the crime in your presence. For instance, you are going along the road and somebody is being chased. Catch him, thief. You arrest. You don't leave him to go and get a warrant.
But in this case,
now I'm coming. You don't leave him to go and get a warrant. But at this level, you need a warrant. First, you have to invite her. Did you invite her? That was also what happened when houses of judges were stormed, if you remember. And the courts have said it's wrong. The court have condemned. In fact, some of those judges have been said that what happened to them was wrong and all that. In this case, you definitely need a warrant. I don't know why the police did that, because to get a warrant is not a difficult thing. I don't know why they did that. Initially, we heard that the police commissioner was not aware from the video, but this morning, I heard the voice of the commissioner of police and said that he's aware and that they were there legitimately and all that. This morning, I heard his own voice when he said now 93.7, it's 7 o'clock news. He said that he was aware that they were there legitimately, that they were not fake people, because what happened at this level is that it's just mere allegation. At this level, it's still mere allegation that you stole money.
Okay.
Although it's waiting,
I'll come back to you in a bit.
I'll come back to you in a bit, barrister. So let's ask the policeman why they did that.
Expert. The fact that armed men dressed in police uniform will storm a person's residence without a warrant for arrest. What do you make out of it?
The barrister has said it all. There are circumstances or situations you can arrest without a warrant, but on certain issues you must get a warrant.
Okay.
But let me be very specific. We don't have plenty of time. That's what our friend here. We're talking about a specific case here. Let's not while away the time. The issue of Joy Nune, former acting Nddc MD, and Senator Gordon Akpabio, it's in public domain. It's undergoing administrative scrutiny,
okay,
and legal scrutiny, as it were. Legal scrutiny from the lawmakers, not the court so far. You see, the question I asked, because I had the commissioner of police making statements, and they asked the question on this based on this issue of warrant of arrest and no warrant of arrest. First question is, who actually complained against Joy Nune?
Who's the complainant?
Who actually, because nobody has asked this question specifically. Who actually, when I listened to the police as a recruit constable, I grew within the ranks. When I was inspector of police, I used to be a charge room officer. When somebody comes to make a complaint, you listen to him. If the person has no ground on that complaint, you reject that complaint. You refuse it trivial or civil. You understand me? Now, if somebody brought a petition in this very case that's already undergoing serious scrutiny by the House of Reps, going through administrative processes, I didn't expect the police to have received that kind of petition to start with. Let me be very frank to you. Because you see, the problem is influential people in this country turning the face of the law.
Who do you blame for that?
Society. The problem is society that the group who don't speak up.
Politicians, not society. I don't have anything to do there. Now, politicians.
If the police had received a complaint against Joy Nune, already the House of Representatives is investigating that matter, and the Senate will come in, and the presidency will come in that matter. I would have expected the police to have washed off his hands on that matter first and foremost. Let the presidency go through. If at the end of the day the presidency say come in,
I agree.
They can now come in. Are you getting me?
I agree with you.
Now, going to Joy Nune's house, first of all, the timing was wrong. The process was wrong. You go in, like the commissioner of police said that they went there with a number of policemen, 15 to 20 armed policemen, at that wee hour of the night. What if the policemen who were officially posted to guard Joy Nune open fire with them, mistaking them for round robbers, mistaking them for kidnappers, mistaking them for murderers? police against police. Let me be very frank to you, but very careful in this country. We allow people to influence us based on their position or their affluence.
Okay, you have to stand by. We still also have Uncle Briggs online. She has to react to this particular one. Hello, Uncle Briggs.
Why do I have to react to this particular one?
Yes, because
let me ask, I don't think sarcastic.
Because she's a woman. Because she's a woman.
Yes.
Please now, I said I was just being sarcastic.
Okay, go ahead.
First of all, I fully understand anybody who realizes that there are people, unknown people, whether they are army, police, whatever, at your gate at 4 o'clock in the morning, will frighten anybody. I, for one, have had experiences of attempts being made on my life in 2004, 2005, even 2003, during the 2003 election, and so on and so forth. So I truly understand, and I wish at that time that Governor Wike was the governor, because I would have called him as well. So I am confident now that anytime I need help, that where my life is in danger or whatever, at least I know that I have a governor that I can call. You know, so the fact that that happened is, as a person, I understand her fears and her position. I would do the same. Now, the legalities and stuff of it is people like Higher King that will inform us. But as a novice, as an ordinary person, I would want somebody to come to my aid. Two things that I noticed in this thing: that the governor went there. I wish that the governor had insisted that that man, those two men that he was addressing, that I wish he had insisted that they hand over their ID card so that he can see their name. We're seeing their faces. We need to see their names so that we can ensure where they came from and who sent them. That is one. Then two, I also heard the governor, after the incident, after the rescue and evacuation that he made of Joy Nune back to government house for safety, I heard him in the interview that he gave, where he said that he spoke to the commissioner of police. I heard him very clearly that he spoke to the commissioner of police. He also said that the commissioner of police said that he is not aware at that very moment. That is what the governor said, and I believe what the governor said.
Okay, now, a very quick one, please.
Let me land, please.
Okay, go ahead.
Then I also watched the interview of the police commissioner 24 hours later after the incident, saying very clearly that he was aware of their presence in that place. So and he said so many other things that I won't go into because those are legal issues.
Okay.
But I heard him say clearly with this my ear that is working that he was not aware that they were there. That the governor had said 24 hours before that he have spoken to the police commissioner and he said he was not aware. There is a massive discrepancy between very powerful men in government. The commissioner of police that is supposed to protect life and property in Rivers State is saying one thing, and the governor of Rivers State that is also supposed to protect the life and property of Rivers State people is saying that the commissioner said to him that he was not aware. This is a very serious discrepancy, and this is one thing that we must get to the bottom of it, because one of these two positions are not very acceptable. The commissioner saying one thing and the governor saying another thing.
Okay, at this point, let's actually listen to the testimony of Joy Nue yesterday. She made that virtually. We'll have the IT guys display that for you now. Take a listen to this, please. Welcome back to the program Arise Shine Saturday special edition. Okay, while we wait for the testimony of Joy Nue, she did that yesterday. Quickly, we have a few minutes to wrap things up here. In making NDDC a better commission or making NDDC to carry out its duties lawfully, what do you think must be done?
I think NDDC must be reformed. Maybe the acts establishing NDDC also have to be revisited, and politicians make it in a way that they will run on the. I think they're under the presidency, but politicians still have a lot of influence, on them. Like Briggs said, they are interventionist agency. They are not actually for development of Niger Delta, but this intervention, have they really done it? The answer is no. They have not really done it, because the politicians have used it to, boost their political career. Struggling. What you see here is struggling of who will control NDDC by appointment of the managing director and the chairman and members of the board. They return money almost every month. You return to your principal who made you to be there. There's the money to be returned to him. Contracts to be returned, both the flying and abandoned ones and all that. I think we should look at the laws again. The problem that's affecting NDDC is the same problem that is affecting everywhere, where you give one man a lot of powers. Give one man a lot of powers and to do everything in NDDC, appointment of the board, appointment of this and all that and all that. So I think that's the major problem. If we have a law that says, look, you can run the NDDC, run it in a way that politicians will not be able to intervene. You can do your job. I say the same thing to police, to army. If the IG knows that he doesn't have anything to do with the president cannot fire him. The president cannot tell him whatever he likes. The president cannot order him around. The same thing with the governor, knowing that he cannot order anybody around. The police will be able to do their job. I blame police, and I don't blame them, because he who pays the piper dictates the tone, because everybody wants to grow in the job. Dr. Chukuma knows what I'm talking about here. Everybody wants to grow in the job, and you want to grow in the job, you want to be disobedient to the man that will make you grow in the job. It's impossible. Even if it is me as a policeman, you make me commissioner of police, and in Rivers State, for instance, I will obey my IG. But if I know that whether I obey IGO or I don't obey IGO, my course will run. I will run my promotion and get to where I need to get to. I don't need to look at anybody for favor. I don't need to go to government house because my money is coming to run the police in Rivers State. I will do my job. But where my destiny is tied to somebody, there's nothing I can do. I have to go to that man to dobale, bow down, lie on the ground, peel a goosey in his house, carry his wife and children to school, and pay for his hajj, pay for visitation and all that, to get favor. It's the truth about it. So I think our laws are the problem. Amend this law. Let these people be independent. Let these people have freedom to do their job. They will do their job. Why I'm talking like this is that I am not tied to anybody. If I am tied to somebody, I will not talk like this. Definitely, Higher King will not talk the way Higher King is talking. Any day Higher King is appointed into any place, I will not talk like this. I will talk and protect my constituency. I cannot go to the air and begin to talk like American. Thank you so much. Let me land with this. The chief of staff of chief of defense staff of America was on CNN, and they asked him, if the president orders you not to go to war against North Korea, will you go? He said, no, I'm not going to do that. For what? He can't order me to go to war. But can that be done in Nigeria? Chief of Army Staff in Nigeria go on national television, Salvation TV or channels and say, if the president ordered me to go, I will not go. As he's coming back from that place, he's sacked. So
Thank you so much. Quickly, because we're trying to wrap things up here, we just have a few minutes to call it today. As a security expert, NDDC moving forward, what do you think are those things that we need to correct quickly?
And he has just said it all. The act, NDDC, has to be revisited. Appointment to the NDDC also has to be discussed, because the appointment into NDDC spares nothing but spoils system. Spoils. To the victor, take everything. To the loser, lose everything. when appointments are based on party patronage, you don't get the best.
You don't.
When it's based on qualification, for instance, we're appointing Niger Deltans into NDDC. But must they be members of a political party or supporters of a political party at the federal level? The answer should be no. Go into the public, go into the communities, and let them select people who should represent them based on their antecedents.
Thank you so much. I also like to get the reaction of Ankyo Briggs on a conclusive note on this one, moving NDDC forward. Ankyo Briggs, you are a voice. You've been talking and you can't stop talking. So on the conclusive note today, what must be done to take NDDC forward and defeat corruption in that commission?
Looking for how to administer communion in an easy, convenient and hygienic manner? Search no further, as Sacred Communion Nigeria Limited will take care of all your needs with their pre-filled communion cups prepared in the most hygienic manner to hold the wafer and wine suitable for all congregation. It is economical, time-saving, 100% grape juice. Contact us now on 0802 318-2664 or 0806-918-4324. Email sacredcommunionwine@gmail.com. Visit us today at Sohon Kudenda Industrial Layout, Kachia Road, Kaduna. You can log on to www.sacredcommunionwine.com. Sacred Communion. Communion made easy.
Must not be involved in the process of politics. They should bring reputable recruiting agencies from outside Nigeria to pick the best, whether they apply, whether it's a Rivers man in America and he wants to apply for the job, he should apply for the job. From Abia in New Zealand, he should apply for the job. If he qualifies, he should be given the job. This NDDC, Amnesty, Ministry of Niger Delta must be taken out of the control, because what they are doing is they are giving us something with the right hand and taking it back with the left hand. I said, if you go through the list of people who have gotten jobs for 20 years in NDDC, you will see the problem. If you look at the people who have collected scholarship from Ministry of Niger Delta, from Amnesty and from the NDDC, you will see that the majority of them, I'm using this word very carefully now, at this point, the majority is not in control, is not controlled by the Niger Delta people, and we are losing out. And finally, if we are not careful, they will use the government, let me say the government will use this opportunity and come up with a reason to close down or put on hold the Niger Delta Commission, the Amnesty Program, and the Ministry of Niger Delta. And these are things that have been given specifically to the Niger Delta people because of agitation, genuine agitation, of which I, my humble self here, have been involved in from 1998 to the argument that brought about NDDC, to the argument that brought about the Ministry of Niger Delta and the Amnesty Program. And therefore, the fact that we are not benefiting from it is nonsense. And we must take these powers back from whoever it is that is taking these powers from us.
Thank you so much, Ankyo Briggs, for your contribution. Thank you so much, and God bless you. We'll have to do this some other time. Again, thank you so much, gentlemen, for being a part of the show today.
Thank you very much.
And we'll have to have you some other time again. My name is Kenneth Okeze, by the way, and enjoy the rest of the weekend. God bless you, and bye for now.
That's fine.
Salvation TV, restoring hope, transforming destinies.
Hey Yahweh.